What's up everybody, Jared here with another ranking video with the anticipation of actually the release of How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World. I thought it'd be interesting to kind of rank these three movies from worst to best. I actually watched all of these movies recently, I had never seen them, and I think that this is very much a beloved franchise so far, so this might be a little bit difficult. But before I get into my ranking, let me know what your guys' ranking is in the comments down below. I'm curious if, you know, your 1 and 2 and 3 are going to be the same as mine. Now, without further ado, let's get into number 3. All of these How to Train Your Dragon movies are, like I said, they're beloved by the fans, the critics, everyone on Rotten Tomatoes. All of them have pretty much are in like the mid-90s. I think the one of them has a 98. Anyways, yes, this was very difficult, but landing at the number 3 spot is actually How to Train Your Dragon 2. Don't get me wrong, this is an absolutely amazing animation film. Like, the animation is great, the vibrant colors, all the way from kind of the ice of the dragon's nest to the kind of the lush green grass that's also there, to the Berk scenes. All of this, it's a very appealing to the eyes film. And the film also expanded on the whole world and kind of the lore. Like, all of the inhabitants of Berk now are dragon riders. They're racing these dragons, and then we also get the introduction of more dragons. There's a nest, there's this giant alpha dragon that instead of fire, it spews ice, and it's in control. It kind of is the leader of the pack. It also hits on some emotional beats with the introduction of Hiccup's mother. You know, she's been gone for so long, so then we get a little bit of a backstory of where she had gone, why she was gone this whole time, and it also, like I said, it hits on sort of these emotional things because it's her reuniting with Hiccup, his father, this lost love story, and kind of brings it more into a mature landscape. However, the reason that it's hitting at the number 3 spot for me is I just felt like it lacked the charm of the first one, the storytelling of the third one and the first one. The villain was a little bit weak, and I would say that towards the end, some of the story was a little bit predictable, and also it felt like the pacing was a little bit off in my mind. I thought that the big battle with the two alphas, basically this giant behemoth going after each other, I thought that was, you know, pretty much the end of the movie. That was the high point of the movie, but then it goes into Berk, and there's another kind of fight and stuff there, so I thought that the end was sort of anticlimactic, so that's why it's losing points in my book. Also, Hiccup's mom couldn't have flown back on a dragon, like she was gone for 20 years. That makes sense. Now, getting into the number 2 spot, this was difficult because I had just seen the third one last night. It was fresh in my mind. The first one, it had so much charm in my book, but landing at the number 2 spot is actually the original with How to Train Your Dragon. This is the one that started everything. This is what obviously was the first experience to this franchise for me, and I just thought that this movie had so much charm to it, you know, with Hiccup kind of being this outcast, you know, not living up to his father's expectations, and then Toothless coming into it, and it very much being this boy and his dog story, and their relationship throughout this movie. It was just, like I said, it had so much charm. It was just a very fun movie to watch. And this relationship between Hiccup and Toothless is what drives through a lot of this movie. That's kind of the main crux of this movie, and it bleeds over into Hiccup's father, who, you know, they're not seeing eye to eye. He wants him to be this dragon killer, you know, dragons are bad. But with Hiccup able to change his father's mind, they bond, they realize that dragons are actually good, they're going to help them out, and the only reason that they were stealing all of their stuff and kind of battling with them is because they were provoked, and also they had to feed this much bigger dragon. Also, I really like the world lore of this movie, you know, with the two dueling dynamics of these people, with the Vikings going against the dragons. All of the dragons have these different personalities, different traits and stuff like that, and then the Vikings, you know, they're the typical Vikings. They live in this village, they go out there just protecting their stuff, but I really like how everything was kind of set up here. And another thing that I really enjoyed about this was kind of all of the training scenes with the training arena in this, and the thing is, like, that's a lot of the action, and it's also exposition in a weird way, because it introduces us to all of these different dragons, how to fight them, their weaknesses, all of their different personalities. You know, one of them is super tiny but all over the place and quick. One shoots this gas, and the other one ignites it. Like, they did a really smart job with the storytelling in this part, with the action, and it very much being exposition, but in a action-packed, not just talking on a screen way. Like I said, this decision was very difficult. I love the first one. I love all of these movies, but the one thing is the first one, this was my first exposure to the franchise, obviously, so I wasn't entirely on board for Hiccup's voice from Jay Baruchel. Obviously, his voice has grown on me a little bit, but yeah, going in that first movie, he's supposed to be this Viking. We have Gerard Butler over here. We got all of these basically big Viking voices, and then he is very much a whiny white guy voice. Like, it was a little bit jarring for me. And of course, landing at the #1 spot is the newest in the franchise, How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World. Like, seriously, I saw this last night or maybe 2 nights ago, depends when I get this up, but this is maybe my favorite movie of 2019 so far. I mean, we're only 2 months in, but there's a lot of things have this to live up to. The animation in this third one is absolutely bananas. Like, there were so many shots in the movie that I was like, that could be a picture, with the lighting, the character movements, all of the vibrant colors again in this one with the dragons. Like, the animation, there's 5 years between the second one and this one, and they were able to step it up so much and just made this, it's a great story, it's great fun characters and dragons, but it was so beautiful to just watch. Again, if you guys don't already know, one of my favorite parts of all of these movies is the different dragons, the different designs, the different characteristics and personalities of all of these different dragons. And in this one, I think that they kind of explored that a little bit more, and I loved it because they introduced a few different ones. They each kind of had different powers. Toothless, rather, he has more powers. These other ones kind of are translucent when they get into a certain light. And then also the evil dragons that almost are like mixed with scorpions. They have venom. They have these spiky tails. Like, they're terrifying. They're the bad dragons, but I love that aspect of this. But the aspect that completely solidifies this movie as #1, in my opinion, in this franchise is the story. How they were able to craft this story with kind of this growing up angle, kind of going off and finding your true passion in life or your true calling, and also this love story of kind of like find someone that kind of completes you. It was able to finish off this trilogy in a very satisfying way. The relationship between Hiccup and Toothless is this emotional thing, it's been going through these 3 different movies, and it comes to this very much emotional, just happy, satisfying ending for both of the characters. And like I said, it's a great finish to this movie. You will cry, but it's not sad tears, it's happy tears. One last thing is, I thought that the humor in this one was more prevalent. It kind of flowed better, it was sharper, it was smarter. It wasn't just kind of these one-off jokes, and it wasn't just focused on Hiccup and Toothless. I mean, obviously they had comedic scenes with Toothless trying to dance or show off to this light fairy, but they expanded that humor onto other people. Like, for example, Rough Nut, I think that's Kristen Wiig's character. She was maybe my favorite of this movie. There's fight scenes, and then it just transitions into something funny, and the mixture of everything here just flowed so well. The only negative I see with this film is that you're going to cry. You can't fight it. You're gonna cry. You just need to accept it. So that is it. My ranking of the 3 films in this How to Train Your Dragon franchise trilogy. Honestly, I think that this is one of the best trilogies out there right now. So what did you guys think of my ranking? Was my ranking close to your ranking? Did I get this completely wrong? I want to know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Anyways, guys, as always, follow all of my social media stuff down there. There's more videos over there. Watch those, like those. If there's any other franchises or movies you want me to rank, let me know in the comments down below as well. And if you haven't already, subscribe down to my channel over there. It really helps me out. It motivates me to make more videos. Until next time, I'll see you later.